When you are parking a bike, I think this will be a quicker one, but when you are parking a bike for a longer duration of time, so winter, right, or for whatever other reason, what are the main things you do to prep the bike to sit still for a long time?
I'm just gonna hit the most controversial one because this is a contentious one. In America, we have a ton of ethanol in our fuel. So there's two ways to approach this. You either want to fill the gas tank right to the very tippy top and put stable in it, right? Because any exposed metal, the ethanol separates. Ethanol is effectively introduces water into the system. We're not going to go down that whole path. So you either fill it all the way to the tippy top with stable or some sort of fuel stabilizer in it, or, and this is what I do, I drain it 100% and leave the gas cap open just a crack so it can vent. And this is especially with the Acerbis plastic gas tanks, which are most motorcycles now have these plastic, they don't have the metal. And if it's metal, I will fill it up all the way. If it's plastic, I want it completely empty and vented. What are your thoughts on that? That's a big issue.
I always buy ethanol-free fuel.
So do I. Yeah.
Wherever
I go
can.
out of my way, way out of my way to make sure it's ethanol free.
Yeah. So I get ethanol-free fuel. So I don't run ethanol anyway. I will still put stable in it for the off season. And I will, it's not always a plumb full, like to the brim full tank, but I'll kind of gauge about how much fuel I've got, put in the stable, make sure it's kind of mixed properly, and then I'll run the bike.
Right, so it goes through the fuel system, through all the fuel lines and stuff like that.
Now, one other little caveat with that, your neighbors won't like you, but if you're running a sport bike that has dual injectors, a lot of them have a lower and an upper injector. The upper injector typically doesn't kick on till like $9 or $10,000.
Yeah, depending on the engine. Yes.
Yeah. So typically I'll warm up the engine and then I'll have to rev it up quite a bit to get those upper injectors to get fuel through them. The neighbors may not be thrilled with you. So just be mindful of that.
Well, and let's like couch this a little bit. Like, what's a long time? Because I've seen this question come up on Reddit a lot. I have to park the bike for a month or two. What should I do?
I probably wouldn't even care about a month or two.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't even bother with the stable.
Yeah.
The other thing, and this is probably the biggest mistake I see with people who live in a cold climate. They love their motorcycle and they're like, oh, it's just been sitting out there. I'm going to go out to my garage and I'm going to start it and let it idle. Why shouldn't they do that, Brian?
I don't do that at all.
No, absolutely
I don't
never.
do that at all.
Yeah.
So one of the hardest things on an engine is a cold start especially when it's been sitting idle for a long time. Basically, as it warms up, all the oil gets very, very viscous or non-viscous. It drips down quite a bit. When you first do that cold start, the valves are dry, the pistons are dry, everything is dry basically. And you're forcing all this really cold, gross, nasty oil to try to fight through the pumps and get to all the places to lubricate it. When it's really cold, it doesn't want to move. So you're probably doing a lot more damage than good by doing that. It's not really helping anything.
You're doing damage more than just even that, because to get an engine up to temperature, it's not going to get up to temperature idling in your garage for 15, 20 minutes. The engine cases are going to be ice cold, right? You're going to build up massive amounts of condensation in that oil. You're going to build up an incredible amount of acids in that oil, and all that condensation sitting in there is just going to start to rot and pit and like all sorts of things. And it's the same thing with your electrical system. The electrical system doesn't charge at idle. So a lot of people are like, I want to go start it up to charge the battery. It doesn't charge the battery until you're like at 3,500, 4,000 RPM. It is, let it sit. Like seriously, let it sit.
Yeah.
Absolutely leave it be. And if you're really, really anxious, put fresh oil in it before you park it. And then, like the last thing you do before you park it in the fall, get the engine nice and warm, go for a ride, come back, dump the oil, put fresh oil in. And then in spring, when it warms up, when you're ready to go for your first ride, you have fresh oil.
Yep.
Start it up and go for a ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't start it throughout the winter.
Never.
The only other thing I do with the bikes is I will pull the battery out.
Heck yeah, especially if you have these lithium ion batteries.
And I will say, from the racing, I've ran lithium batteries for a decade or longer now. They used to be kind of junk. They would die all the time. You'd go through batteries all the time. But now the new ones, I think I'm still on my original battery for the Aprilia. So it's like a, what is that, 5, 6 year old battery now?
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
it's totally, every time I've tested, it's totally fine.
The
So
problem with lithium ion is when it lets go,
it's just toast.
it's done.
It's just gone.
It's
Yeah.
not, it's not like
Yeah.
a lead acid. You're like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
bump
not like,
start it.
yeah, it
It's
doesn't
like no,
get worse. It just quits. Yeah.
it's just over. Yeah,
So,
which is perfect for a track bike.
but do you, with your lithium batteries, do you put them on any kind of tender or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So we used to be sponsored by Shirai. I hope they sponsor us again. They canceled all their sponsorships. I don't think it was personal, but I loved working with Shirai. I have their very special charger,
Mm.
and their special charger, it has a maintenance mode. And so it has like a winter storage mode. And I think the charger is still sitting on that counter
Yep.
right there. And I just take the battery out, I put it in, I put it in maintenance mode.
Yep.
But my garage is different. Like this is a climate controlled space because we do so much work here for the channel. And the bikes live an easy life. You may not have,
Right.
I probably think it's unlikely you probably have a climate controlled garage.
Most don't, I don't
So
think.
bring
Yeah.
it in the house and do it, right? What do you do with
So-
your lithium ions?
So the lithium ones, because they discharge so slowly, I pull them out of the bike after the last time they're going to be ridden for the season, and they just go live inside the house. I just go put them on a shelf, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't put a tender on them. I don't do anything.
I don't think they necessarily need
If
it.
they're in a warmer climate, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
If it's a lead acid or AMG battery, the battery tenders are still
Yeah, AMGs
really,
are like a glass mat battery.
Yep.
You're going to see those on a lot more of your touring bikes. They're a phenomenal technology.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on sodium ion batteries?
I don't think I've ever used one.
A couple companies have reached out to me. They may be sending us a couple to test. You probably, as the engineer, what do you know about sodium ion batteries?
I will actually decline to answer because
You don't know.
as a proper engineer, I would be out of my depth to try to give you an answer on sodium
I
batteries.
appreciate the honesty.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate. They're cheap. They're like $50,
Yeah.
and like retail, they're $50 for a sodium ion battery.
Yep.
So we may be having a couple to test here. I don't know anything about them either.
So yeah, I can't say that I know a whole lot about how the batteries work, so I won't go too much into detail. They're fairly simple little devices. There's a cathode and there's an anode, but regardless, I can't say why a sodium battery is a better option or a cheaper option. But there's different chemistries for it. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I hope with the company that's reaching out to it, I'd be curious to see how it plays out.
yeah, okay.
But I think the bigger issue, there's a lot of like technicians and mechanics that I know that I really trust that they're like, I'm never running lithium ion because when they go, they just let go. Like a lead acid battery starts to give you hints. And probably I'm on the multi-strata subreddit,
Mhm.
and probably the most common question on there is, my bike's acting funny, it's not running right, and whatever. And people say, well, what's your voltage on your battery? Well, it's 10.8. And they're like, oh, and you're like, yeah, like, especially with the modern fuel injection motorcycle, you need a strong, healthy battery. And a lead acid battery gives you warnings, right? It starts acting funny. It may not run as strong. It's a little slow to start. Lithium ions just
Stop.
done, and if that happens in your garage, okay, that's one thing.
Yeah.
If it happens, you're in Havre, Montana on your way on some big adventure, and you're like, crap, where do I find a
Now what do I do?
battery
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
So
Yeah.